yeah, so you got the goals. That's great. Actually, that's honestly, I wanted to spend more time on that anyways.
Okay.
This time around, so.
'Cause I didn't know what you want as far as the weekly journal. That's another thing I need to ask you because I don't know what you want me to do with the weekly.
Yeah, let's open it up when we can look at it. There's also there's also in that, we can talk a bit about that a little bit, where you can incorporate some images, like imagery.
Yes.
So based on your verbatim, it seems like that might be a really expressive way for you. Sometimes words, I don't know, sometimes I always find words fall a little short.
Right.
And sometimes if you just can capture an image, right, like it conveys so many things and it opens up the things that are kind of, deeper, then. So, kind of like, when we had you pick the little totem, you picked the little pets, right, the little porcelain pets.
Yes.
Right? You told us a story about who you are by just kind of giving us an image. You know what I mean? Not only are you a pet person, right, but it tells like a deeper story. The connection, right? It's an entry point. So, yeah, I'm all about like, it's important to like, for me and your classmates to get to know you better, right? We want you to be able to feel like you can express yourself and, tell us, who you are, Coco. What's your story? Yeah. We'll look at this here in a minute, but I just ask, like, how was your, how's it going, like, as far as, like, your kind of first full week and a half into the clinicals and doing this?
Yesterday, they put me on the floor.
Okay.
All by my lump sum.
All right.
So I took the, call it a flow chart, the patient list thing, and then I actually highlight the ones I have not been seen as far as the chaplain. I highlighted it. Then I'm looking at the rooms, numbers, like, oh, okay, this one, that one, window, door, trying to get familiar with it. And then I just being myself, but in that chaplain role, that's a mental health role, so I have to like convert it in a way.
Yeah. What do you find is different between the two in terms of what's similar, what's different? Like,
the mental health role is pretty much they have a goal already preset for them.
Okay.
I mean, I just help them to achieve it somehow. This was different. Trying to figure out what's going on with them. Even though it's a goal for the mental health, but what's going on, like the intimacy, that one-on-one connection, versus you only got for like 10 minutes to have a conversation with the mental health patient.
Yeah.
It's not like a time limit.
Right. Yeah, it's a little more open-ended.
Yes.
Yeah. So your first time covering the unit, right? And so what did that feel like? What can you recall? Like,
I was trying to get everything. People to see that I was there, that's the goal, because I don't want them to think that, oh, Coco was sitting in the office, not doing nothing. No, I'm on the floor, but I'm just trying to get familiar with the floors and, some single room, some double room, and I'm trying to learn that and who nurses work with who and all that. I'm still learning, so.
Did you introduce yourself to some of the nurses?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some nice nurses there.
Sure. What unit were you on?
MRU.
Oh, the MRU.
Rehab?
Medical rehab unit?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and those patients are, they're there for a stretch, right? It's, roughly, I forget how many weeks. It all depends, obviously, on their progress. But yeah, you get a lot of amputees, stroke recoveries, people recover from major heart surgeries. So they require the medical support that they wouldn't necessarily get if they went to like a subacute rehab. But so anyway, they're there, so they become kind of residents for a stretch. So I like that unit a lot because you can theoretically build some relationships with patients. Where some of the other floors, they're here today and gone the next. So okay, so you I'm just trying to maybe think about how you reconstruct your day there. So you introduce yourself to nurses, so you got familiarized with the rooms, right? So I don't know if you got a chance chance to introduce yourself to any of the therapists yet, or anything like that? Physical
No.
therapists, speech therapists?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
They're probably just scattered around, but it's nurses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you have such a like exuberant personality. Like I can envision you. Tell me if I'm wrong. But I can envision you like if you're this is like your assigned unit for the next few weeks. You know, like just approaching a therapist and being like, "Hey, I'm Coco. I'm one of the chaplains here. I'm a new chaplain, chaplain intern. You know, and if you ever need anything, give us a call. I'm always glad to offer support to the patients." So, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think building those relationships is like is a key.
Yes.
In any kind of chaplaincy, relying on the interdisciplinary team. So okay. So how many visits did you have? Do you remember? A cup of water or something.
Probably visit like out of the 15, 20 people, maybe like 5 or 6, trying to make my rounds the best I can.
Okay.
It's a start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no rule saying you got to see all 15.
Yeah, because that's what my goal was. It was trying
Uh-huh.
I gotta knock all this out, like somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well, because you also have to build in time to chart.
chart too, yes. Which
You're still learning how to do that.
I'm still learning how to do that. It's getting easier,
Mm-hmm.
but it's having more like detail. I was doing like short version of it, so now I need to like do more detail.
Okay.
Of it.
Yeah. In our time together, something like that might be useful for our time if that's helpful to you. Go over your notes, talk about like what you're writing and ways that you can either expand or be more concise. It's kind of an art form, and I'm still always tooling with my style even after all these years of doing it. So if that would be useful to you at some point during all this, please let me know. We could use some of our time doing this to kind of work on that. So yeah, so you charted them all.
I chart them all.
All right.
Even though
Awesome.
I have a chaplain that like to talk, he took about a good hour of my time. Like I'm just listening to him at the same time, but at the same time.
Oh, you're talking about one of your office?
Yes. He just kept talking like, okay.
Yeah.
And then that's when Lorraine was like,
His name Ken. He talks a lot. I was his mentor when he was going through his first unit of CPE, and that was one of the things like hey Ken, slow it down and listen. It's hard. It's a hard thing to break. See, he's got a lot of energy. So Lorraine's good though.
she good.
She'll tell him what's up.
Yeah, she did. She's like, go, we gotta go. She haven't had her lunch yet,
Mm-hmm.
and I did. I just kept seeing it.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, so around 5-6 visits, 5-6 notes. How you feeling? Like, how'd that feel?
I felt good. Like
Yeah.
the clients, they smiled, they laughed. I make them laugh.
Okay.
Yeah, they laughed. The laughter was important for them. They
Okay.
smiled, so they gonna never like forget about me in a way. So they know that was me. Give me that laugh, give me that smile, something to look forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And how are you feeling? Like, how are you feeling about it? I guess that's maybe more what I'm interested in hearing.
Feel good. It is something I like doing.
Mm-hmm.
That interaction with one-on-one clients, and it's like talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you feel any kind of nervousness, or are you still feeling some kind of apprehension?
At the beginning I was, and then I just like, no, go, you got this. I had to talk myself to it. Like, you got this. You good. You okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
just walk in there.
What kind of? Is it okay if I ask you? Just like, what kind of introductions are you making?
Like this. Like I have to say like this.
Superman?
Yeah.
Yeah. why don't you give me a scenario, like, or just like I'm just a random patient. We'll do a little tiny little role play so I can imagine just how you're doing an introduction.
I walk in there, just a smiling. You know, I'm always, first of all, I didn't introduce myself to people that's at the front desk
Yeah.
to let them know that I'm here to do my rounds. But I'm here though, in case if they need me.
Yeah.
I'm here. So it was like, okay, you know.
Yeah.
And then I ask questions if I can't figure out what room is this and what room is that. They would like point it out to me and then let me know. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I just walk in there. The patient was there was two people, it was a birthday celebration. One of the patients, it was like two of them actually went into the room, but one of them was celebrating their birthday. And he was 81 years old. He just turned 81 years old. His birthday. And I walked in. His wife was right there sitting. He was sitting up eating his breakfast. But she had like a birthday card for him and everything. So I know that right then and there. Then I look at his chart, like, oh, yeah, it's his birthday today. Today's his birthday. So I just walk in there, knock on the door, and I was like, oh, hey, how you doing? You know, and then they look up like all smiling, like, hey, you know, and I was like, my name's Coco from the spiritual care department. I'm Coco from the intern, Chaplain Coco. An intern. Just want to check and see how you're doing today. And I noticed your birthday's today, so I want to wish you a happy birthday. He was like, oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You know, my favorite cake is strawberry. Mine's too. You know, and I'm trying to engage with them. That's what, this is a small, short version of a visit.
Yeah. Yeah. So it sounds like walking in. Is that kind of what you're leading with? Like the, hey, I'm Chaplain Coco. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Like I said, you got such an exuberant personality.
Yes.
I would say, like, you know, I mean, you knew he was there for, it was his birthday. It was probably like the vibe was probably pretty good for him,
Yeah.
right? Like might be one of those things you just may want to be mindful of, right? When you make an introduction, right? Like I said, you got such a warm personality. But I always say sometimes you gotta meet people kind of in that room, right? Where you're, what's the word? Kind of almost like you're the thermostat, right? You're gonna set the temperature for the room, right? And you know, when you make that introduction, you're just like, hello, you know, my name is Jonathan, I'm Jonathan. I'm Coco, one of the chaplains, and I just came by to check in on you, see how you were doing, you know, something to that effect.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just like, you know, just kind of, sometimes you might need to lower it just a little bit, just based on what you're seeing, right? So use your eyes, your ears. Somebody might be sleeping, they might be tearful, right? So how you meet them really kind of makes a difference.
Okay.
So, and I know that was your first week.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you did it wrong. I was just, I think it's one of those things like early on and even years later after doing it, I have to always remind myself, like, not everybody's the same. I have to be observant of like what's happening. So, but, all right. Oh, it sounds like success in some ways.
Okay.
So, what did you feel you did well?
Well, introduce myself one. Make eye contact.
Yeah.
Read in body languages and see.
Okay.
Trying to engage the conversation the best way I can.
Yeah.
And then respect the boundaries too, you know, because maybe his wife was there and wanted to spend more quality time with him, so I just, you know, like always come back and visit. So.
Okay. I'm sure that you reflect back on this. What do you feel like you would like to improve on? Could be anything.
Set the temperature. Cause I go in as a high spirit, like you pointed out, so I have to read the room more. To calm myself though, I just go there with burst of energy. So I had to calm it down.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like I said, like I think the first time I saw you in person, you were like, "Oh, I'm Coco," and you gave me a hug.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, we're hugging." Okay. I'm fine with hugging.
Right,
I'm okay with hugging, but you know, some people, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's all about boundaries.
Yeah.
It's all about like reading the room, and that's a big part of it. So, Yeah, yeah. I like I said, honestly, I can always stand to be more mindful of that myself. So anything I would suggest of you, I want to let you know, like that's the kind of stuff that I would continuously have to work on as a chaplain. Okay.
Mhm.
So, all right. So you got your first weekend. Well, no, you got clinicals tomorrow. You'll
Tomorrow,
do,
yeah.
Okay. And so right now, are you doing just 8 to 4, 9 to 5?
9 to 5 now.
9 to 5.
It's
Okay.
probably better that way because
Mm-hmm.
leaving from work at 7, sometimes 7:15, 7:30 is pushing it. So I just told him, I said 9 to 5 would be great.
Mm-hmm.
We were made that schedule time conversation the day one when I did my my initial when I first met him,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when I talked to him about it. And he was like 9 to 5 would probably be good. He
Oh.
gave me options, so I was like 9 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good. That's good. And you've gotten to know, you're starting to get a better sense of the hospital and the different floors and
I'm still learning it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes some time. Okay. Have you experienced any codes yet? Rapid responses?
No. Not yet.
Call to emergency room, anything like that
Not yet.
Okay. Yeah, those are really good ones. Those might be really good if you get them like verbatims.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's always something to learn from any encounter, but I find sometimes like those really distressing situations, disorienting, are some of the best learning moments. I remember when I was in this process, that was some of the best stuff for me, because I felt so uncomfortable and I felt so uncertain of myself. So yeah, just encouragement if something like that comes along.
Okay.
Those would be really good verbatims. But anyway, you're off and running. So yeah. Let's see what time it is. Be mindful of time. Okay, we got plenty of time.
So that's just kind of like a short. I
Mhm.
mean, it's not. I just thought of. I'm very color coded and all that stuff. You can see, like trying to
Yeah,
be creative in a way to help me.
I like that. Like the use of hearts.
Yes.
For your bullet points.
Yes.
All right, so I want to be mindful of boundaries, specifically when it comes to touch, right? We talked about
Change
that.
that. Yeah.
Okay, you're right here. I should keep a small journal or mental note about situations where this happens, as if I have noticed when I have tended to touch others. Okay. Now, do you like journal? Do you journal?
I do like a little writing journals. Sometimes
Yeah.
I type it up, or
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I found in CPE, I'm not a natural like journaler, but I found in CPE I tended to journal more because just kind of the nature of the work. It's so reflective,
Mm-hmm.
right? So yeah, so I would encourage that. If someone seems uncomfortable or pulls away, take that as a cue to respect their boundaries. Okay. For social interactions, remind me to be mindful and to ask myself if physical contact is appropriate or necessary. I think that's great. Anytime, right? Pause and reflect,
Mm-hmm.
and then act. There are times where, like, by just nature of instinct, I just want to put my hand on their shoulder.
Yes.
I just had that yesterday when, like, I was visiting with, I think it was, oh, you know what it was? It was a comfort care patient, and the son was upset, and I wanted to put my hand on his shoulder, and I was like, I don't know if this is something he'd want. You know what I mean? So I paused and reflected. And actually, I resisted the urge. I didn't do it. He had a lot of family, so they can put their hands and arms, around each other. So I still have to do it. So pause, reflect, or observe, if you will, and then go. Or if you feel like it's really necessary, like, can I put my arm around you?
Okay.
Can I, you know what I mean? Or can I put my hand on your shoulder? Sometimes they'll tell you. They'll just tell you, yeah, that's okay. Or no. No, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Avoid touching others. I should use alternate gestures: smile, eye contact, verbal compliment. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Well, I like your tips here: boundaries, mindful, kindness, BMK. Affirmation, respect, stay mindful, show kindness every time. Measurable, make conscious effort to pause and think before initiating physical contact in social settings. The primary goal is to respect others' personal boundaries, regardless of their situation. Remember, my presence, attentiveness, and support are often more meaningful than physical touch. By being mindful and respectful, I can create a safe and comfortable environment for everybody. All right. I think this is good stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think presence is the most important thing to be mindful of, right? The fact that you showed up, you cared enough to show up in this situation speaks volumes. So when you're present with a patient or their family and they're going through something, they're grieving, or they've just been sitting there and they're frustrated and anxious, right? The fact that you took the time to show up and be present with them, like that's the, that's so important. So yeah, remembering that presence. But, yeah, this is really good stuff. Do you have any comments about that?
I did have a patient, her two sons was there in one room. She was going through some heart problems or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the sons was expressing his feelings how his dad had died in the same hospital, and he worried about his mother.
Sure.
So, I was talking to the patient, how she's doing, but then again, I talked to him, and he was like, I'm so sorry. He about to start crying and everything, and he happened to give me a hug, and I'm like, okay, maybe he needs a hug. So, I didn't ask, like, it's okay, but I just, gave him a hug, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked for me again.
Yeah.
After I was charting, and he was looking for me, and he wanted to talk to me again about the situation. He just wanted to express his feeling about his mom and just scared and worried,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, if you're comfortable giving him a hug, if that's like they're like the patient's initiating it, if you're comfortable with it, and you feel like that's a pastoral opportunity, yeah, by all means. I mean, you gotta be mindful of your boundaries.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, that's happened to me a lot. And some chaplains, that might not be something that they want, and they may have to say, oh, no, thank you, that kind of thing, because everybody's different, right? But yeah, I think that was actually an appropriate use of like your mindfulness, that you didn't initiate it, you let them initiate it, and then it opened up a deeper connection. So yeah. But yeah, it happens. It happens a lot. People often want to give you a hug as a result of your care that you're offering. So you do have to be mindful of that. You do have to set some boundaries and expectations. You probably want to try to keep it contained to that moment, right? You know what I mean? Sometimes there's, people will want to, take it beyond that. So I think you gotta be able to be mindful of like, hey, this is for this moment, this is just for this time, and everything that happens within, we'll say, the four walls of this building, you know what I mean? Even though the buildings aren't shaped like, with four structured walls, but yeah, you're keeping it contained to here, and again, I always say just I use the word mindful a lot, but being mindful of that, like, to not have it escalate beyond this, right? You'll be available again the next time you arrive if the need arises. So, but a good use of touch, I think, in those situations. Okay? Yeah. Let's see here. Your next one was, I want to learn about faith traditions and offer spiritual care. Learn about different faith traditions, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism. Understand core belief practices and rituals of these traditions, providing respectful spiritual care tailored to individuals' beliefs. Actively listen to patients' faith backgrounds, keep deeper insight into their values, beliefs, thereby enriching my knowledge and providing more compassionate, personalized care. What can I do to achieve this? Reading materials, journaling, reflect on my interactions, schedule weekly learning time, 30 minutes, jot down notes. Okay. So, again, I think this is all very, very admirable and really good. I was gonna say providing spiritual care tailored to individuals' beliefs. I was gonna say how would you go about that?
Like you say, even though there's some patients say they non-religion or not practice religion at all, but then they believe in God, but just don't have a church home or something like that. So it's like trying to get to know them more, even though they say they're not religion. But then again, there's something they will say when we have a conversation that will come up with, deeper than that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, let me see if I can paraphrase or if I'm getting you. You mentioned specifically people who are maybe listed as not religious or maybe spiritual, not religious, that kind of thing. Understand what that means to them.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Understand what that means to them, and then I could be able to help them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I find these are opportunities to be curious as a chaplain. Because even we always think of spirituality or religion as kind of a monolith, right? Like Christianity's all this, Judaism's all this, Buddhism's all this, but we remember there's so much variation in all these things because we come from all different cultural contexts, right? So even people who are not religious, right? Not all not religious people are the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a really good opportunity to be curious.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I think you can use some cultural humility, right? And that is an opportunity to ask and be curious about what does your spirituality mean to you, right? Your sense of faith mean to you? How is it present with you or available to you here in this moment? And I find those are opportunities to really get a deeper sense of what let them be the expert. You know what I mean? Get a deeper sense of what it means for them. So that way, I'm not just painting all Muslims in one broad stroke, and I'm not painting all Buddhists in one broad stroke. It's almost like you need to find out you engage your patient, and you find out what is valuable to them. Even the spiritual, not religious, right? People who are oh yeah, I don't go to church. I used to go to church, but I don't go to church anymore. But I pray. I talk to him. He knows that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And again, it's an opportunity to get curious. And often I'll say well, that's it's interesting. Spirituality is on a big wide spectrum. What does it mean to you right now when you're going through this? See if you can get them thinking theologically in a way that maybe they haven't thought in a long time. So so that they can access it or maybe reintroduce it to them. I don't know. It's different for each person. Or people will just say oh, I don't want to talk about that. And I'm okay, and that's okay. But yeah, I think that's a good way to work on accomplishing some of these goals. And I mean, I'm all for more reading and scheduling weekly learning time, as best you can fit it into your very spacious schedule that you have. Yeah. Have you thought about what you would want to do with that learning time if you could do it? If you can do it?
If I can do it. I'm
not gonna hold you to it, or at least I should say, I think I'll inquire about it because I think it's very ambitious.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to know what would you like to do as far as have that kind of learning time? You could
He can read, but also
watch something.
I like to like watch videos, like YouTube, and just get some type of core insight of it.
Yeah. Okay. Like I said, I think it's admirable. I think it's worthwhile. And honestly, when I was in the seminary in college, we did world religions courses, and I found those the most interesting because I'm always just very interested in like what do people believe,
Yeah.
the history of it, all that stuff. We're such a diverse group of people, all of us. You know, because you're Baptist, right?
Mhm.
For your tradition.
Born and raised.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was raised in the United Methodist Church, and I became ordained in the Free Methodist Church, and both Christian traditions. You know what I mean? Culturally, I'm sure it looked different, right? Was your church predominantly African American, right? And so like, we all we're all coming from these different spaces, but we call on the name of God, right?
Yes.
And there's that similarity,
Yeah.
but it just looks different.
It looked different.
It expressed differently, and that's okay, right? I think that's what makes humans so unique and vibrant. But for me, like, to understand you is like I want to understand who you are and what you value spiritually. Because if I understand you spiritually, or I'm working on understanding that, like I just have a better sense of who you are as a person and what that means. So it's similar to chaplain, right? You meet people, and they're coming from different areas and backgrounds. Like you'll meet someone who's Baptist, and their Baptist background is different, right, than yours.
Yeah.
Just how it is.
Yes.
So, so be curious, ask questions. I got some good material I can give you
Yes.
too as well.
Yeah.
There's some good videos for sure out there. Yeah, YouTube's great for that. All right. About 12 minutes. Okay, so being present with those who are dealing with pain by being aware of my emotions and feelings and self-care. So an awareness tracking sheet. Oh, okay. So were you able to?
I haven't started. I just kind of like.
Yeah.
I just did like a little draft, like trying to figure out, like, okay, should I
Okay.
use to track it, and put all my little goals.
Okay, so date, interaction, patient setting, emotional state, before
I walk in there.
and after,
And after.
self-care activity.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I did after the visit.
Okay. Okay, how did I feel during the interaction? Did I notice any emotional responses? How did self-care support me? Okay. Yeah, so I think being aware of your emotions in the moment and then after, and then how do you manage those is an important thing in chaplaincy. Self-care is a huge thing. You can connect with so many people, and they bring so many their emotional burdens with them. You're willing to kind of be a cistern and have them pour that in there. You know what I mean?
But it's better, and then after you're done with that, you have to release it in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is why you need to do self-care, so you release it, so you won't carry all the burden,
Mm-hmm.
what they going on, include my burden.
Mm-hmm.
You have to release it somehow.
Yeah. Well, you've been doing mental health stuff for a while now. What do you do to, when they give you all that they give you, what do you do to kind of release that?
I go outside,
Uh-huh.
nature,
Okay.
prayer, meditation,
Uh-huh.
just sit and be still and listen
Okay.
from above.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And I know exercise is a big part of your life.
Yes, I gotta have it. Got to. That's something I have to figure that out too, because working overnights and then come here and then, I have to make sure I'm alert. And then I also want to give energy to go and work out as well.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. I think it's great. I think it's great. I think if you can track some of those things, especially like some of those higher intensity emotional moments, like the top when you're doing, complete it, right? Write the name or write your date, your interaction detail, your emotional before and after, and then think about like what self-care activity is gonna be best to kind of help release that. Yeah. Because I can tell you, like this job, like doing it as long as I have, like, you know, there are times where, you know, I'm able to just kind of say like, all right, I'm gonna leave it here, these four walls, and I'm gonna go home. I'm present for my wife and my kids. And sometimes there's ones that like they just stick with you, you know, and it's by nature, like they're intense. So those are the ones where like I almost be more intentional about my like self-care routine afterwards. Like go for a walk. I like to walk too. I like to walk outside, get my brain cleared, or exercise, or I like Legos, so I like work on like a Lego project or something like that. You know, things like that, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it is like, you know, just I play with my kids or go for a bike ride or, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, I think that's where you need to be a bit more intentional or ask for help. I remember one time I had a really intense, it was a death in the ED, and I felt just overwhelmed by it all. It was a kid, younger kid, who died by suicide. He was only like 13, 14 years old, and he got in this argument with his grandparents. He was in his grandparents' care, and he, I can't remember, he might have, the details are irrelevant right now, but he, you know, he died by suicide, and they were talking about why, like what led him to do that, and one of the things was like, they were arguing over video games or something like that, right? And so in this kid's mind, he was in such a desperate state of emotion that he decided to act out that way and impulsively did something that ended his life. And the grandparents were just so distraught. So I was with them, I was with the family for hours, and I walked out of there, and all I could think about was like, man, what was the thing I argue with my kid about all the time is like video games. Like all I could think about was like my son, right? And so I was like, I need to talk to somebody. So I called up one of my colleagues, and you know, I'm like, hey, I just had this really difficult interaction, and I really trust you, and we debriefed and we talked, and she was so kind, so helpful, just to let me talk and vent a little bit. So I want to encourage you, like those are the kind of things like you may need to do a little bit more than just go for a walk. You know what I mean? And that's okay. You know what I mean? You can call me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I hope you're building a relationship with Lorraine, and you call her. But if things like that happen, like I just encourage you, like those are resources you have.
Okay.
Specifically here in Catholic Health, because there are other chaplains, you know, and those of us who've experienced hard stuff. So what, you know what I mean? I know how my emotions were before, and then I hear this, they get a call, and they tell me what it is. You know, my stomach drops. You know, I get myself centered, I go and do it, and I know what my emotions were like afterwards, you know what I mean? And I needed to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
I needed to decompress, because it's always hard with kids, but like, especially when your kids are around the same age, and I was like, I need to talk to somebody. So I just encourage you, that kind of stuff. So if you can keep track of that kind of stuff, it's such a mature thing to do. So I would encourage you to do that. Okay, and I think that would be a really measurable way that you could show your learning and you know, if you do it throughout your career, you're looking at becoming a Navy chaplain, you know, working in the military, the trauma people experience, that's something I would imagine as a chaplain, right? You gotta learn how to regulate your own emotions after people just kind of put that all on you. So this expands on that, right?
Yeah, this is like kind of like a point scale.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, this is good. Can I keep this?
Yes.
All right, awesome.
Keep that.
Yeah, well, Coco, you're doing great. I like this a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. for the weekly, nah, I didn't do that yet. Like
Yeah, that's not good enough.
I pre-started, but yeah, you go ahead. I pre-started, but I haven't. I'm like, I don't know what he looking for. Like, everybody, the classmates, they did it already, but I'm like, I don't know. Hold on.
So this right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my process reflection, this first page should be a digest entry of relevant personal experiences, clinical encounters, pastoral growth, peer and supervisor relations, theological reflections, and progress towards learning goals, a window into your CP process. So actually, the thing we were just talking about with this, for example, like you could take this and be like, hey, I had this encounter and this happened, this is my emotions going in, this is my emotions coming out. Like this was really like difficult or challenging for me. So really it's like a reflection, an ability to reflect on relevant experiences that you're having.
So can I use that, my first visit with, when I did my verbatim, can I use that skill?
Yeah.
To deal with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. So yeah. So use your page to kind of process what it is you're going through. I write process reflections every single week for Brian for my learning, and I often think about interpersonal or intrapersonal, like what am I feeling inside myself? Interpersonal, what was I feeling like with my interaction between you and me, or me and whoever. And then a lot of times I'll attach it to either a theology or a theory or something like that. You don't have to do it that way. But what I'm saying is I'm always thinking about what it is I'm feeling here and processing inside of here, and then what am I feeling and processing outside of there, like the interactions I'm having with students or patients or whatever. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's what you would use that for. And then weekly wellness. This is a page where you can talk about your own kind of self-care stuff, working out, reflection. I'm keeping up with my exercises. It kind of helps me because I think that's what it's trying to get at. Chronicle what you've experienced with physical exertion and spiritual attention each week. Yoga, stretching, just planking, prayers, stairs, scriptures, laps, push-ups, poetry, muscles, meditations. What are you noticing, body and soul? So how is that connected to your weekly self-care? I was building Legos and I just kind of lost in the thoughts and it helped me. You know what I mean? I don't know, whatever. That's me, that's Jonathan. But anyway, and then here, you can use an image. Okay. Remember we talked about that? So if there's an image that you feel is attached to all of this, you see a picture of, I think you used Jesus as a shepherd in your, and then you had one where the mom was holding the daughter, right? So, maybe it's connected to something that you experienced, and you decide you want to put a picture of a sun or, a tree, and somehow that's what's connecting us to what you're feeling. We can always start with that, you know what I mean? So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this is just for an opportunity for you, an additional opportunity. This is like journaling, really. Right? What are you going through? What are you experiencing? How are you processing it and reflecting on it? Because spiritual care, chaplaincy, is reflective practice. We kind of talked about that in the group, right? It's you go back and you think about the experience that you had, and it's how we learn about ourselves in the moments, and how we learn to practice better, even. You know what I mean? So.
And this is every week?
Yeah, if you could do this each week, I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
I would say you did a great job on your verbatim. I know you said you felt very intimidated by it.
Yeah, I was.
It is intimidating.
Yeah.
I still feel intimidated when I have to do it. Right? But you did a really good job, and I would say that those ones are going to be a bit more detailed, right? Because they almost by nature have to be. These ones here are more kind of for your own kind of wellness and psychology and spirit during all this, just to help you kind of let some stuff out if you got there's things that you're feeling about what you're doing. Okay, so that's the way we capture it here in these weekly reflections. Okay. Yeah, so don't fret today, and honestly, actually, my direction was you didn't have to have it today.
Okay, cause I was like,
Yeah, because I wanted, actually, I did want to spend time on this stuff.
Yeah.
Because I said, you guys had some good goals, and I just wanted to be mindful of, like, I wanted you to kind of keep thinking deeper on, like, how you're gonna accomplish them. That's stuff that's measurable, so, anyway. All right, well, I think we're actually at our time boundary for this time today. All right.
Yeah, I'm bringing my laptop though, cause it's like, it's hard for me to, cause I use Word document all the time. Their Word document here is weird,
Yeah.
sorry, but it is.